students, we have seen that how a work can be done against the gravity and the formula can be used to calculate what could be the work done or what could be the height we can measure from the ground level, and that is applicable with some force, and we can lift any object with such kind of work done we have to do, and what could be the height. Okay, but now what if the work and the force that is being acting on the body is obliquely? What do you understand by obliquely? Okay, let's suppose this truck is a toy. Okay, this toy car now lifted by a boy, and that has been lifted in some angle. That force, earlier we were talking, the force and the displacement is in the same direction. Like force is applying here and the displacement will be in this direction only. But what if the force is applicable at some angle? Some angle has been made here, like it has been dragged in this direction. Force is in this direction, but the vehicle is moving in the straight direction. Okay, so we can say that the force and the distance here are making some angle in between them. For that condition, what could be the formula and how we can find the exact value of force? So students, for such a condition, when the force that has been applying and the motion that has been produced inside the body is making certain angles, for that condition, we have to take a cos theta here. Because in this condition, the movement of the body is not in the direction of the force. So we can say that some kind of little force, some vector of the force is producing the motion inside the object. Like somebody can ask, like scientists know that the force is acting on the body and this body is moving in this direction. Okay, हमें तो पता है. But what if any unknown person who don't know about anything about work, so he can ask that if the force is acting in this direction, then why this body is moving in this direction? This could be asked. Okay, so for that we can say that though the force is acting at some angle relevant to the motion, but that force is now having two vectors here. One is the vertical vector and one is horizontal. So that horizontal vector of the force, like students, let me tell you one upgraded thing that you need to learn. ये तुम्हारे higher course में आता है, but for a consideration I can tell you that thing so that your concept may be clear widely. Okay, now what happened actually, if any kind of force is acting in certain direction, so making certain angle with the horizontal base. Okay, any force like that would always be having two vectors, one in the horizontal direction like this and one in vertical direction. So we can say this as the Fy direction and this could be Fx direction. Okay, so that Fx direction is now the responsible thing for the motion that has been produced inside this body. That is why we have taken here two vectors. And now let me tell you one more thing. This x vector is always be considered as the cos factor and this y vector is considered as the sine factor. Okay, sine theta, cos theta, all these things are considered as a part of the mathematics. But physics is relevant to mathematics here. Because of that, here we need to see what is sine theta, any axis which is on the vertical symptom, like any force, any motion that is being done in keeping in mind of the sine theta. So we can say that here y-axis is working. Now if that is horizontal, so we can say that now cos theta is working in this case. Okay, so here because the force and the motion are not in the same direction, these are in different direction and making certain angle here. So for that case, this kind of force, this horizontal force, this value of the vector force that is in the horizontal direction is considered as the responsible force for the motion in this object, and that force can be calculated with the help of cos theta here. Okay, so here we can say work is equals to force multiplied by cos theta, because the theta here we are taking is in between the force and this force, that is cos theta, and the s, that is the motion direction. Okay, so here we can say that force multiplied by distance multiplied by cos theta. One more thing here, because the direction of the force is slant. Okay, so like for the unknown person, like I have told you, जिसको नहीं पता है, that person will ask you that why the direction of the motion is in this direction. Now we can say that though the force is in this direction, so that in between force, like this force can be taken as the in between, like this vertical axis and this x-axis. So this vertical axis is also a part of this thing, and this thing is also, because this force is playing a part inside this plane. Okay, ये plane में ही ये कहीं से भी कहीं भी move हो सकता है, like this. Okay, so we can say that कि x-axis भी यहाँ पे work कर रहा है and y-axis भी है, ये कुछ height भी ले रहा है, that it is gaining certain height here in this direction, यहाँ इतनी height है, and it is also taking some distance from here to here, but that toy is only moving in the direction of the horizontal. That is why we are taking here a cos theta. So for this thing, it is now clear that only the direction of the motion is considering. That is why we can multiply cos theta with the distance here. Okay, distance के साथ ही cos theta multiply होगा, because हम motion की ही बात कर रहे हैं and distance traveling हमेशा horizontally होगा, तो ये cos theta हम value distance वाली लेंगे, distance के साथ की ही लेंगे. Okay, now it is very easy to solve these types of question. बस आपको कुछ नहीं करना है. You need to learn the values of the cos theta here, and the force and distance is given to you. Okay, and the theta value is in between the force and the distance value. Okay, so for that we can say theta is the angle between the distance and the force. Students, for making the calculation part easy, now we need to check common values of cos theta. As you know that if the force is making certain angle with the motion of the object, and certain angle has certain value, and that could be considered as a part of the cos theta, and for that theta value of the cos we are having these values. For starting value, that is the 0, cos 0 degree, now we are having this value as 1. So for that part we can say 0 means the angle between the force and the motion of the vehicle is 0, that is the motion is in the direction of the force. So for that, work done will be is equals to force multiplied by s, that is cos theta, and force multiply by s multiply by cos 0 degree, and you know that cos 0 degree is the value 1, so we can say it is force multiplied by distance. So it would be easy for us to know now, because in this case 0 degree we can say that the force and displacement are in the same direction, so we even not have to write all these things. For that we can directly solve force multiplied by displacement. Okay, but in case of another degree values, like instead of 0 degree that is overlapping on each other, we are having certain value of the force. Now for that thing, cos 30 degree will having a value of root 3 by 2. Okay, so in this case that we can say now force and displacement are having the value of 30 degree in between, and here value of this is root 3 by 2. So work done will be force multiplied by displacement multiplied by root 3 by 2. And calculating all these things, you will get the result of the work in terms of joules. In the same manner, cos 45 degree, you will have 1 by root 2 value. Cos 60 degree, you will have value of 1 by 2, that is the half value. Okay, for the half value, what you are going to do? Just half it. Okay, like work done is equals to force multiplied by S multiplied by half. So whatever the result of the multiplication, you can just put it half. Now in case of 90 degree, now for that we are having a value 0. Okay, so for that multiplying force multiplied by displacement cos 90 degree. Okay, so we can put the value 0 here, and you know that students, multiplying any number with 0, you will get the result, overall result as 0. So we can say that if a force is applicable in perpendicular direction and motion is in another direction in the perpendicular way, like force is in this direction and motion is in this direction, for that case we can say no work has been done according to science. And also force could be in this direction and motion could be in this direction. For this case also we can say that here also we are not having any work done.